Hey guys. So this happened.
And we could be moments away from seeing a 12th Republican candidate enter the race for the White House. Donald Trump, everyone, is expected to announce his plans from the New York building that bears his name.
Because often it is all about his name. So the question is he serious this time or just selling something?
There are a lot of candidates.
Martin O'Malley, Hillary and Bernie.
More than a dozen Republican governors and senators.
And the always outspoken real estate mogul and reality TV star Donald Trump.
Oh, Val. I wish you could be president. Yeah, me too.
Two sources close to the campaign tell NBC News former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will announce she's running for president.
Okay, let me do it one more time. I know you think I'm crazy. You're right. I'll be more serious. I got a deep perk.
And see you rolling. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second. Bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
There are no words to describe what just happened.
I'm not even sure I'm kidding when I say we all might look back and say we remember where we were when it happened, for better or for worse.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
And Hillary said Donald Trump took time off the campaign. Can you believe it? Here's a woman. She makes a speech for 15 minutes. She goes home, goes to bed.
Because what makes us great is we are the country that has taken people from everywhere in the world. And we all become Americans. And we love America. And some even fight and die for America.
You were against same-sex marriage. Now you're for it. You defended President Obama's immigration policies. Now you say they're too harsh. You supported his trade deal dozens of times. You even called it the gold standard. Now, suddenly last week, you're against it. Will you say anything to get elected?
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life. I have always fought for the same values and principles.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman.
I have not supported same-sex marriage. I have supported civil partnerships and contractual relationships.
I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples. I support it personally and as a matter of policy and law.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know, you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is principled.
Tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States
tough,
by insulting
Jeb,
your way to the
let's
presidency.
see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better.
It really is great how long you've supported gay marriage.
Yes. I could have supported it sooner.
Well, you did it pretty soon.
Yeah. Could have been sooner.
Fair point.
One of the worst Secretary of States in the history of the country. She talks about me being dangerous. She's killed hundreds of thousands of people with her stupidity.
See how well it works for Donald Trump. Do you ever think to yourself, oh, maybe I should be more racist?
The first presidential debate, Secretary Clinton.
Woo! Okay.
I don't know Putin. He said nice things about me. He has no respect for her.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's
Mr. Trump. Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody. Pocahontas? Pocahontas? Well, no, she's... Look, she is...
It's very offensive.
You tell me. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas? Is that what you said?
You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
You are the front runner. You say that you're going to be president of the United States. There is a manner of behavior that goes with that. I'm not saying be Mr. PC. I'm not saying be Captain Gentility and let everybody beat you up. But the idea of returning a blow every time you receive one, you know that doesn't work in any high-level situation.
Well, I'm a believer. Perhaps you're not. Maybe that's why your show isn't doing as well as it should be.
Oh,
because
you
you
see,
really
that's
have a
not
better
nice.
show than that. But
That's not nice. That's not nice. You're attacking me for asking you a question.
Because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care.
Chris, let me respond to that because that's horrifying.
Do you know the safest place in the world to be is at a Trump rally?
Yeah, I am. You're making me leave. All right, because I chose to express myself. Fuck Islam. Fuck them. Fuck Islam. God bless Donald Trump. Problem with Trump. The Constitution says that religion is a right for all. Muslim is not a religion, partner. It's an ideology. You don't come and talk about Americans when you're supporting Muslims.
Our president has divided this country so
Yeah.
badly.
Fuck that nigga.
Everybody gets offended by the pettiest little stuff. I mean, grow up.
Not a whole lot of women would put these shirts on and come out in public, and I thought, this is how I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel he's the last chance we have to establish law and order and preserve the culture I grew up in.
Get out of here, Paul! Say it!
Election 2016. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
And we are coming on the air right now because Hillary Clinton about to appear in New York. There you see Tim Kaine, her vice presidential running mate. Let's listen in. She will concede to Donald Trump.
Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country. I hope that he will be a successful president for all Americans.
It's been what they call a historic event, but to be really historic, we have to do a great job. And I promise you that I will not let you down. We will do a great job. We will do a great job. I look very much forward to being your president. And hopefully at the end of 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, or maybe even 8 years, you will say, so many of you worked so hard for us, but you will say that that was something that you were very proud to do, and I can thank you very much. And I can only say that while the campaign is over, our work on this movement is now really just beginning.
Hundreds of people from Pennsylvania to California, Oregon, and Washington took to the streets to voice their opposition to the president-elect. Around UCLA, police reported that around 500 people gathered to protest, chanting, "Not my president." Smaller protests were held at other California colleges and universities. In Pennsylvania, hundreds of University of Pittsburgh students marched through the streets. Their student newspaper tweeted, "Emergency meeting, let's unite to stop President Trump."
If you guys aren't living in the US, I'm sure you've heard about all the craziness going on anyways in our country. And yeah, it's absurd. So as many of you have heard, Donald Trump is our president. Yeah. I never thought I would ever utter those words, but I just did, and he is. And that happened. Like so many people, I'm sure, in my country, in the US, I thought that it was a joke. I thought that Donald Trump was a joke, and that his followers were a joke, and that this could never happen. This could never happen in the free world. This could never happen in the United States of America, who, we pride ourselves on being, on the forefront of so many things. And to do something so sort of backwards to me just felt like, it just felt impossible. But I was wrong, and I made a mistake. Obviously, after this all went down, I mean, the night he was elected, I cried on the phone with my friend from 11:30 p.m. until I think 4:30 a.m. until I could call my brother who lived in New York and tell him the news in the morning. And then I cried on the phone with him for a good hour. The night before, I had spoken to one of my coworkers who is a Mexican American, and she just had a baby girl, and we were talking about how exciting it was that she could actually look at her baby in the face the next day and tell her that she could be anything that she wanted in the world. And so when this happened, when Trump was elected, I was just grieving for myself and my own communities and stuff, but then I was also just grieving so much for her and her family and her little girl. And so after Trump was elected, you know, I have family members that voted for Trump, and their whole thing was like, oh, they're voting for his economic policies and they just need change and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they're not racist and they're not bigots and they're not xenophobic and they're not all these different things. Yet they voted for a man who is, right? And they would be like, oh, that's all chalk. That's just the media, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think that, but there was a part of me that was like, okay, I hope they're right. I hope they're right. I hope that Trump just wanted to use these people on this platform in order to win and get votes. But then his policy wouldn't reflect these horrific points of views and opinions of his cabinet members and his followers. But I couldn't have been more wrong.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history